So this part of Zurich is called Niederdorf. That means lower town, and it's the older area of Zurich. I'm actually running a little bit late, which is typical. I'm not Swiss. Lots of little galleries and little shops. There's a English pub, Oliver Twist, and since I first came here on visits 20 years ago for work, it's changed quite a bit. A lot of the old established shops and companies are gone, and they've been replaced by a lot of newer ones. There's a guild house to the ironworkers, to the smiths, to the blacksmiths. Guild house to the blacksmiths. All the typical brands are Patra, London. Some nice little hotels. Be very expensive though. And over here, from memory, there's an interesting little shop. Yeah, Condomeria, a shop with a whole lot of different condoms, one for every occasion. So just around the corner, we'll arrive at the big monster, the big church, Grossmonster. Here's an interesting shop. They sell colonial wares. All teas, coffees, spices. All of the stuff from all the countries that England raped, basically, when they colonized all over the world. Here's a Spanish restaurant, Bodega Española, and a Spanish wine shop. So, not far here, around the corner, from memory, is the big church, the Grossmonster. It's cold. It's about 0 degrees. No snow, but very cold. Yeah, so here's the big church. The Grossmonster. And over the river, there's a smaller church, the Fraumonster. We'll go this way actually. Over here, this is a beautiful big music store. It's huge. Oh, they seem to have emptied parts of it. So that floor is strings, violins, etc. There used to be pianos. Used to be a Steinway gallery in there, but it seems to be gone. Maybe they're renovating. somewhere here will hopefully be a restaurant where I'm going to go for dinner. Okay.
Wie bei der erfolgreichen
Winterreden.
2017 in den Niederlanden. Doch die Ehe ist nicht nur ein sportliches Highlight, sie wird auch ein kulturelles
So
Fest.
this is something to laugh at. This is typical of Zurich art, is that there's some special art thing on and there's about 10 people watching. That's typical for Zurich. I think that somewhere here is where I'm going for dinner, so yep. Of course, it's a Thai restaurant. Ban Song Thai. And we'll have to make a report afterwards on about how that was. So let's walk back now towards the universities. Actually, I'll go for a little walk along the river. So this is the Großmünster, the big Munster church in Zurich. Over there, this clock tower that we see, that is St. Peter, or Sankt Peter. That's actually the biggest clock face in Europe. Work colleagues just left on that tram. That's all right though. So let's go across the road. I can believe that was the town hall of Zurich or something similar. No, that one over there is the town hall. So there's a lovely old bridge, cobblestone. It's an old stone bridge with cobblestone still over there. I'm not sure what that building is. Looking that direction, just over there, there's a bridge, and beyond that is the lake of Zurich. And up that direction you come to the train station. That's another guild house there. I'll read what guild house that is when I get closer. And so this church I think is Frau Munster, Ladies Munster, Ladies Minster, and it has windows from I think Chagall that are a little bit famous, and I'm not sure, I can't remember the name of that little church there. Possible to walk along the river edge there, but we'll go a different way. I remember that there's some nice places to walk around here, so it's nice and quiet. I'm not going to disturb anybody. Let's do that now. Many years ago when I came here, this was actually a parking area. I used to have cars parked in the middle of that big sort of square, but they've turned it into just a pedestrian area now. So here's the other side of that guild house, and I don't see a sign saying what guild house it is. I think maybe some Ruden to the rowers maybe. I don't know what it is. It's a Meissen. Meissen. I'd have to find out what that translates to. I'm not sure. Guildhaus zum Meissen. Zunfthaus zum Meissen. That's beautiful. Make a little photo of that, if I can. Can't make a photo. Oh well. Strange. Okay. There's some popular restaurants over here. If you go through there, you get to an area called Parade Place, Paradeplatz. Actually, let's just walk through there and then walk back, huh? So, I'm sorry, I can't say the name of this. Munsterhof. So that's like the Minster Square. Hof is like place. So that's the Frau Munster. And then here is some nice old school bakeries and cafes. Another Zunfthaus, another guild house. Zurich, that is to Zurich, to I think to the scales. Look, maybe it's then it's possibly Zunfthaus, a guild house for justice and lawyers. Waaggasse, so scale street, scale place. So this is quite a famous restaurant here. Zeughauskeller. Zeughaus, this is the old armory, and you can see it's a very popular restaurant in there. Lots of meat, lots of meat, and all up on the walls and around it's got armory type things. So you can see the sort of food that you get at Zeughauskeller. It's kind of like a beer hall or a beer halle. Looks warm. And so this is Paradeplatz, or Parade Square, Parade Place. Over there, that is Credit Suisse, and behind over there is UBS Bank. These are sort of their like flagship buildings. Garriada, and here Hermes shop. And over there, Savoy Hotel. Of course, nothing's cheap around that area. On the main street here, Bahnhofstrasse, this is the main street of Zurich. At this end of Bahnhofstrasse, it's all about luxury brand shops, luxury watch shops and luxury brands, Yves Saint Laurent, and Louis Vuitton, etc., etc. Nice to walk past, unaffordable to shop. So let's walk back through. We're now on the other side of the Zeughauskeller. In summer, where I'm walking right now is full of tables and chairs. You can sit out here and enjoy the food as well. So that's restaurant in there, and yeah, it's a popular place, especially for tourists to go. Food is good. Some little streets and little avenues are leading off in all directions here. We're gonna find out about UFOs, Area 51. And here we have Bindella. This is, from my understanding, a fairly popular and important restaurant. If you've got money, then you might come to Bindella. let's go up this one, Schlüsselgasse. So that ring, 18,000, 15,000. Oh, that ring there, 45,000 Swiss francs. That's 45,000 euro for that ring. I have to come back for my next year's Christmas shopping, right? This is a the Veltliner Keller. This restaurant specializes in food from the Wallis region of Switzerland. Well, you can see it's beautiful wooden ceilings and probably a lovely atmosphere inside, but not food that I'm interested in eating. Little chocolate shops. You know, it's only 8 o'clock at night. Switzerland and Zurich. We're in places that are just asleep. In a lot of the world, this would be vibrant, full of people celebrating, people out enjoying dinner. Here it's dead. All the Swiss go home at 5 o'clock. And they're all in bed at 9 o'clock and sound asleep by 9:15. And there it is again, St. Peter, biggest clock face in the world, or in Europe, biggest clock face in Europe. See, they look like very well-to-do kind of men and women, suits and everything like that. I think there's another fancy little restaurant tucked away in here from memory. Yeah, it's in there, but it looks like it's closed up. Yeah, very closed looking. Glockengasse, so Bell Lane. The Bell Lane. There's a churrasco restaurant here. And over here is a nice little Steiff gallery. This is Steiff is a brand of teddy bear, the one with the button in the air, and they make lovely soft toys, but very expensive. But it's quite a lovely shop, that one. Okay, we're going to go through back up here now. I'm going to go back along to the river. Pop back over this way. Over here is a little street called Rennweg. Renn, I think, is like running way. Or raceway. Not sure what the meaning behind that is. And that leads back down to the Bahnhofstrasse, the main road. And this path here leads up to the Lindenhof. The Lindenhof is a important sort of a space on top of Zurich, and all of this is owned by the Masonic Lodge. That is amazing. Somebody had a pet cat that they obviously loved, but they built an incredible cat ladder for them. That's amazing. That's 1, 2, 3, 4 stories of cat ladder. Well, I don't know what that symbol means. Interesting. And here we have the Lindenhof. Very quiet. So there used to be a castle on here a long time ago, but nowadays there's no castle. There is the meeting rooms. One of the Masonic lodges, a big Masonic lodge. And like I said, all of this land underneath us, there is a lot of stuff going on as well. And that is the Masonic Lodge building there. So that's Masonics there. Maybe you can't see it so well. Star of David. No, it's a pentagram up the wrong way. And that's where we started the walk. Over there at Grossmonster we started, and we came down and crossed over the river just over that way. There's the river down here beneath us, tram running along. In the center of the picture with the crane behind it and the church spire in front of it, that's the University of Zurich. And the other building there now in the center of the picture, that's the ETH, University of Applied Sciences. Apparently one of the top 10 universities in the world. There's nice little paths running along the river down there, which we'll also walk back to. I could walk down that way to leave here, but I'm going to go this way so that we can run along the paths along the bottom of the river. The problem with Zurich, especially if you want to stay for a night or two in Zurich, the prices are pretty prohibitively expensive. You definitely don't want to try and stay in the middle of the city unless you have plenty of money to spare, and otherwise you're better off being a little bit just out in the western part of the city. There are some Novotels and Ibis and other hotels like this that have more reasonable prices. Let's go this way. You know, there are actually people living in these little apartments and houses in these old buildings. I don't know whether I'd be particularly keen on it, but it's probably extremely expensive, but maybe it's nice. I guess if you work in the city, maybe it's a lifestyle that you'd be happy with. So now we've come down underneath the Lindenhof. We were just before, up there on top of that wall, under that tree. So now we're down below at the river. There's another way up. Here up Fortuna Gasse, Fortune Lane as well. That leads back up to the Lindenhof. Actually, I think I can tell you an interesting little story here. If I remember correctly, just over here somewhere there's a plaque on this wall that I discovered one time when I was walking through the area. Now this is an interesting story. So they have a plaque to remember this by, I think they're remembering it as a celebration, not as a misery, as it were. So let's have a look here. Very, very hard to read. Very, very hard to read. I will aim this out at the river while I read that to you. It says in German, I'll translate it into English as I read. Here, in the middle of the river, on a fishing platform, Felix Munz and 5 other Täufer, that's Baptists, 5 other Baptists, in the time of the Reformation, between 1527 and 1532, were drowned as the last Baptists were in Zurich. And the others, the last Baptists in Zurich, were hung. And the people that they're talking about are the Anabaptists, or the Täufer, and they mostly came out of the region of Bern, in the Emmental Valley in particular, and mostly you might be familiar with those people as the Amish. So they fled Switzerland, they fled Bern, Zurich and the areas around, and they made their way to Pennsylvania. And in Pennsylvania they established a language that is called Pennsylvania Dutch, Pennsylvania Dutch. Not to be mistaken with Dutch like from the Netherlands. Pennsylvania Dutch is actually very, very similar to Swiss German that is spoken in the Bern area, the so-called Barner dialect. That is where Pennsylvania Dutch, or the Pennsylvanian Dutch, came from. The Amish in America and Pennsylvania fled Switzerland and Germany during the Reformation time because they were persecuted by the reformers, and they founded a lot of different things in America. One of the things that you may be familiar with comes from a family of Swiss from the canton and the village of Appenzell, with the surname Hirsche, spelled Hersche, Hirsche. But if you think about what that might be translated to in English, you wouldn't be far wrong if you guessed Hershey, and they founded Hershey chocolate. So Hershey chocolate in America, the delicious Hershey's Kisses, which I love. Haven't had one in about 20 years. They are basically a Swiss chocolate, or a chocolate company founded by a Swiss family, the family Hershey. So there you go. Useless facts and information, part 1 from Foxdale Travels. Now I'm actually parked up over there in the university building, well, in the technical university building, because I knew that I could find a parking space there for free, or for almost free, instead of paying the horrendous prices that you pay down here in the city for that dinner appointment. So I will make my way back across there and up the hill to the university. This building over here is the central police station for Zurich. Over there is the Central Plaza. There's a hotel. There's a little train, a little funicular that runs up to the university, but at this time of the night it will be closed off. So we'll go for a nice little walk. The river is called Limmat, the Limmat River. So over the road we have a little adult shop, Magic X. It's a chain of adult stores in Switzerland. There's no button to press. It's Switzerland. You just wait for your turn. There we go. Green light. And just up in front of me, from memory, is the public library. Straight ahead, the dark building. High Fish nightclub. Doesn't look like anything happens there, but apparently that's a nightclub. I think when it says nightclub in Switzerland, it actually means sex club, or table dancing and stuff like that. I'm not sure, but it doesn't look like it's a very lively place anyway. So just here, crossing us now, off to the right, that's the Niederdorf village street again, and that also runs off across to the left down to the central area and the train station. Yeah, so that is the central library in front of us. Another church. I think that's called Prediger, the preacher's church. Prediger. I'm going to cross over the road up here, so it'll be a little bit easier to move around. So that's the central library of Zurich, and attached to it the Prediger Church, the preacher's church. That place, no, it's not Prediger, I'm wrong, it's Zaringer. Oh well, I don't have to know every place. That street leads back to the central area. I believe that used to be considered a red light district, but that seems to have changed. Doesn't seem to be anything red light about that nowadays, which is nice to see. I think that the hotels on the street complained. That's the library, the central library that we're seeing into there. I don't think it's still open. Maybe it is. But certainly a lot of lights on. No, there are students sitting in there studying away, so it is still open. Oh, nice shoes. Wow, those are some serious boots. And up there, the university building that we see with the university tower. That's not the one where I'm parked. I'm parked in the one that's a little bit to the left over here with a dome on top. The ETH, the Technical University. The Swiss University of Applied Sciences, I think it's called, or something like that. I'm getting hot because I'm walking. It's about -2 degrees, but the shortest and fastest way to the car is up this ridiculously steep stairway and pathway. Well, that's going to really bring out the sweat in me. Oh, look, there is still something of a red light district and a little nightclub or something going on there. Football Club Zurich. GH, I think it's Grasshopper. Another football club, Grasshopper. For a country that prides itself on cleanliness, there's a lot of graffiti and tagging. Can you hear me breathing? Oh, okay. Technical University. Of course, most important place, the bar, where all the students are drinking. And over there, university. And over here, the city. So, Technical University, no. I lie. University of Zurich. ETH, Technical University. And over here, big terrace out in front of the university with views. On a good clear day, you see the mountains in the distance. Zurich by night. University of Zurich. ETH, Technical University. See if we can still go through that building or not. I guess that means it's still open, huh? So, there's a lot of artwork in here. No name, no details of what we're looking at, unfortunately. And the hallowed halls. It's very quiet. No one around. Guess even students take a break sometimes. Oh, it's quite beautiful. Well, it looks like a procession of the cross. Interesting. I like the galleries. So it's visible here that these buildings, this building was originally this one, a big rectangle, and then they built some wings going out in an H shape and then around. And then later they appear to have come across here and constructed a glass roof over top of all of that. And so what was outside is now inside. And the auditoriums are wrapped inside. So this university, I was reading up about it, it's apparently in the top 10 in the world with Oxford, Harvard, MIT, and a couple of others, and Cambridge, etc. Einstein was studying here and then taught here, among others. They have a huge list of Nobel Prize laureates. just generally kind of one of those places that you don't necessarily know about if you don't come to Switzerland, or if you're not aware of the German-speaking educational world. But in Switzerland and in the German-speaking world, it's famous. So here we come outside the main entrance. I love the effect of the lights with the strikes going across them. And here you see the dome at the front of the university. And over the road, that is the University Hospital of Zurich. It's a biggest hospital. All those buildings going up there in the distance are also hospital buildings. So it's a sizable place. A teaching hospital. Yeah, so there we are. I'm going to end the film. I hope that you enjoyed it. A little bit of a look around some of Zurich at night and the university area. And so ends a little tour of Zurich. Hope you enjoyed it. Don't forget to hit like if you did, subscribe, and let me know if I should make more videos like this. Bye.